Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Sonny, you kissed my wife. Baby, my heart's on fire. We review Hasbro Pulse exclusive legacy line Voyager Cyclonus with Target Master Nightstick. Cyclonus made his debut in the Transformers 1986 animated movie, supposedly rebooted by Unicron out of a damaged and woozy Skywarp. Or bombshell, depending on who you talk to. In the movie, Cyclonus never said a word, but in Season 3 of the TV show, he sort of became a second-in-command, and you couldn't get him to shut up. But check out the opaque front of the box with line art of Cyclonus gawping out at you along with a smattering of logos. Legalese is on the side panel, along with some smug preening about their environmentally friendly policies, with almost nothing on the back. And a continuation of the line art on the sides. Having exhausted all other options, let us open the plastic-free box and extract the huge chunk of plastic from inside. Out-of-box Legacy Voyager Cyclonus comes with his instruction booklet, a gunmetal gray painted weapon accessory, 2 mismatched purple Fire Blast accessories, the Nightstick Target Master accessory, and a decal sheet. And this is Cyclonus in his alt mode, a futuristic wing-forward space fighter. In the movie, it showed Galvatron riding around inside him in a display of mass-forming wackiness. This mold is the same as War for Cybertron Voyager Kingdom Cyclonus, with the main difference being that instead of using movie-accurate colors, they used Generation 1 toy-accurate colors, which are a much deep, darker purple, along with much darker grays, and translucent yellow-orange cockpit. The dark colors make it a little hard to see, but there's a lot of sculpted detailing. The gray portions have a slight metallic sheen. It also feels like there's good heft, and there's no rattling. All the parts tab together nicely so they don't feel loose or floppy, and he holds together very well. The ship has a triangular tapered design with both the nose cone sections and the side wings and the tail fins. The robot parts all hide very nicely, with no overtly visible kibble, and even the legs and chest are decently camouflaged from underneath. The rear portions of the ship are cohesively joined, and it does seem as if they are actual engines rather than just 2 legs stuck together. There are 4 ports at the back for fire blast effects to convey imaginary propulsion. There is also a port underneath each wing, 1 port on the top, and 1 on the back of each side engine, which you can use to add more weapon accessories or store the default weapon, and the Nightstick Target Master. Overall, this is one of the better representations of Cyclonus that I have seen. The 2010-era deluxes were too floppy and didn't hold together well, but Legacy Cyclonus hits all the right marks, even if Leader Galvatron won't fit in the cockpit. There's even flip-out landing gear at the front and at the back, so he can lie level on any surface. I won't be applying the labels. Stickers always have adhesive residue that sticks to plastic and to figures, which can't be removed except with citric acid, and I'd like to keep it pristine if possible for resale value. These side engines tab in towards the back of the thrusters when transforming to alt mode, so untab them and swivel them forward. Rotate them so the wings are inverted, then the rear engine sections untab from the back. Once this section is untabbed, you can angle these panels just to the side of the cockpit, upwards a little bit. Oh yeah, and fold up the landing gear, I guess. The entire cockpit section will disengage and rotate it 180 degrees so it's inverted. The front chest panel opens up, so does this section just behind it. You will need to unfold both to get access to the head and finish the transformation to the chest. Going to the top, unfold this panel from just behind the needle nose cone and fold the needle inside. Then reclamp it shut. Halfway down the nose cone, unfold a second panel, and then fold this other section inside of that. It doesn't hinge downward, it hinges backwards, so that the landing gear folds out and points the other direction, but then it encloses and clamps shut pretty nicely. Then this entire head section swivels for the dramatic head reveal. And as you guessed, you then fold these sections back up to clamp the chest back together, on both sides. Then these panels which you had folded out can fold back in. They will tab inside at the chest on a set of double hinges, These wings will untab from the side of the shoulders, angle backwards, and then you fold and invert the wing, and it will tab into the back of the shoulder. Take this flap at the side of the wing and fold it inwards to narrow the wing's profile a bit. Using this hole at the end of the side engine, fold out the arm on this hinge, then rotate it so that the fist is pointing forward and the hole is pointing in, and re-clamp shut. Separate the two leg halves. The thighs and knees are on a double hinge set. Pull on them to extend the knees outwards, and you kind of angle these hinges so that the knee is halfway between the back of the leg and the front. The thrusters untab from the back of the leg. They angle up on these hinges so that you can fold out the foot. Then fold this section so that it's inside and clamp it shut to fill out the shin. The robot mode is identical to War for Cybertron and Kingdom Cyclonus except for the darker purple, the darker gray and silver, and, well, just a little bit darker on everything. The robot mode for the Generation 1 figure was pretty awful, but this mold does a good job of capturing the essence of the animation model while still giving him a good alt mode. He's still got that weird horned head. The facial detail is good, though he looks kind of grim and zombie-like, which is only fitting because he was made out of half-dead Decepticons. The proportions look good without any of them coming across as too squat or lanky. He's got some good heft for his size, though he rattles a bit. And on my copy, this left arm flops around and can't even support its own weight at the shoulder. But he's got a clean silhouette, and it all seems to be hard plastic, and it's mostly solid except for these hollow portions just behind the knee. And if you want to, you can collapse the knee joints to make him a little less tall. He's got a couple of small fire blast ports on his body. If you want to give him that battle-scarred look, he can hold his weapon accessory in either hand, as well as the Nightstick Target Master, though because of this loose shoulder he can't hold up his weapon. Boo! But he has an open port on his back, one on each shoulder, one on the side of each shin, and two on the bottom of each foot. So there are plenty of options to customize, which is good if you plan to have an armada. Then there's the Nightstick Target Master, which really is just another copy of the Siege Micromasters. You can go back and look at my Siege reviews, and you will see that they are molded in almost exactly the same way. The only difference is the colors. Nightstick is mostly gray with some black on it. He transforms in exactly the same way by disengaging the hands from the side of the back of the gun, untabbing and unfolding the legs backwards, rolling a mid-hip joint so that the legs connect to the hips. Then you just fold the gun backwards so it's slung across his back. The arms will rotate 360 degrees on the ball socket and also swivel outwards. Each leg will kick forwards and backwards, and since they're also ball socketed, they will tilt outward to the side. You can untab the gun from his back, and using this little peg, you can tab it into the side of his arm to hold as his own weapon. Either one of the Fire Blast accessories will plug into it, so he serves as a good minifigure for Cyclonus. Again, I was going to hold off with the label sheet. If you examine the instructions, you will note that you have to put the stickers across some areas that have sculpted detail on them, and which are worrisomely near to the landing gear and other moving parts, which means that there's sure to be tearing, bunching, and scraping on those stickers and decals, which would only make them ugly. Not to mention, as with all stickers and decals, the color is sure to rub off over time if you handle the figure with any degree of regularity. For articulation, Legacy Voyager Cyclonus has a 360-degree rotating head. There's even some light piping in the back, which you can use to convey an artificial sense of menace. The head will also waggle a little bit to the left and to the right, as well as tilting back and forth. Each shoulder will rotate 360 degrees, though as I have said, this left shoulder rotates a little bit too easily. Each shoulder will angle out, despite the wing kibble, and there is an upper bicep rotation. Each elbow will bend 90 degrees, and though it's a tight fit, the fists will swivel in their sockets. The hips are subdivided, but there is 360-degree waist rotation because of it. Each leg will kick forward until it bumps into the hips, and kick backwards until it stops for the same reasons. The hips are also rigged to splay outwards fully, with upper thigh swivel and rotation. The knees will bend backwards 90 degrees, and if you swivel this hinge outward, you can get even greater range of motion. Each foot will tilt forwards, and the ankles will also pivot from side to side. So the articulation level is very robust, and you can get many excellent poses. It's good that they added some foot tilt, and nearly double-jointed knees. If I can fix that left shoulder, it will be even better. Ooh. For size comparison, here is select Legacy Voyager Cyclonus next to Combiner Wars Galvatronus. Here is Legacy Voyager Cyclonus next to Earthrise Voyager Skywarp or Power of the Prime's Legends Bombshell. Whichever one he was made out of, you decide. And here is Legacy Voyager Cyclonus next to a Portal 2 turret. I held off on getting Kingdom Cyclonus just because I didn't like the paler, more washed-out colors that were used in the movie. So when I saw the toy-accurate colors on this figure, it finally overcame my inertia. And if previous versions of Cyclonus have left you feeling let down, then Legacy Cyclonus is one you may want to check out. Positives are that both modes are well done. The alt mode is solid and clean with deep rich colors, and there's a fair amount of Battlemaster compatibility. The transformation is advanced enough to be engaging, but simple enough that it's not off-putting. The robot mode is well articulated, well proportioned, and accurate to the animation model. The inclusion of the Nightstick Target Master is a good bonus, as well as the option of enhancing the figure with labels. Negatives are that the robot mode has some loose joints, especially around the shoulders. The Nightstick figure mold is really overdone at this point, and some of the labels won't fit properly on the figure because of the sculpted detail. But there's plenty to like, and this is one of the best Cyclonus figures that has been done to date, and worth the price if you can afford it. If it weren't for the loose shoulder, he'd have scored even higher, but even so, he's worth 8 out of 10 deaths. And that's without any mass forming.
If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. Then you'll be left alone, oh baby. Tell them all and tell me I'm your own.